Good afternoon, everybody. Christy Hudgerson in the fight and on the front lines every day for you, the American people. I want to address the Hawaii fires, and I want to talk about what we've been discussing for a very long time now, and that is the World Economic Forum, the cabal, and the powers to be that are undermining everything about the sovereignty, not just of the United States of America, but of the world. Did the cabal just burn Maui down? That is the question. I'm going to kind of go through some things and kind of connect the dots here on some of the players between the mayor of Hawaii, the police chief, where they just were 3 times at the United Nations, speaking on, you guessed it, smart cities, clean energy, sustainability, and that Hawaii wants to be in the forefront for America to be converted to these clean energy cities. To understand the cabal, you need to understand who they are. A lot of people ask me all the time, Christy, who are the cabal? So I'm going to explain to you who the cabal are, because they're everywhere. The cabal not only are the World Economic Forum leaders. So if you look at the World Economic Forum and you go to their website, and hopefully you will do your due diligence as somebody who needs to understand real truth and information. You don't just get it from individuals like myself who are telling this. You can go and get your own research. And I'm going to have Christine Anderson, who is part of the European Union Parliament, and she's going to be on my show tomorrow. You are not going to want to miss that, because this European Parliament member is taking on the cabal in the World Economic Forum, just like Women Fighting for America is. So I want you to look at the list of every single individual who is a member of the World Economic Forum. You need to look at every single country that is a member, state member of the United Nations. You need to look at the corporations on a global scale who are part of the World Economic Forum. This, my friends, are the cabal. The deep state that we always talk about here in America are those individuals who are unelected officials or unelected individuals who work for these agencies across the board. So these particular individuals in the deep state are all part, most of them, of the World Economic Forum and the cabal. The billionaires, the elite class, and then, of course, all of their little minions and workers. People ask me all the time, what would be the reasoning for this? Why would they destroy our countries, our boundaries? Because there's a plan in place. Even Xi Jinping of China, I don't know if you guys know this, but right now there's a lot of military generals and high ups in the Chinese government who actually have deeds to your property in your house. This is a fact. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is a fact. So they've divided up how this is going to happen. We believe they've divided up the earth into different sectors and quadrants based on a lot of different things. And then there'll be world leaders or individuals or countries who will have operational control of those particular areas or the farmlands, agriculture, resources, all of those things. So they don't want boundaries and they don't want borders. So they have to erase all of that. That's why you're seeing open borders all throughout not just, by the way, the United States. And I'm getting ready to go over to Europe, and I'm going to expose what they're doing with open borders over there and how they're infiltrating into our lands with what I believe are their mercenary armies to go against the resistance. So Hawaii, the cabal burning down Maui. So the governor of Hawaii, he just got back 3 times from speaking at the United Nations and the World Economic Forum and talking about smart cities, okay, and how they want Hawaii to be on the forefront of these clean, renewable energy cities. They can't burn down Oahu. That's a really big big city. So they target the smaller areas, just like you're seeing a lot of the crime in whether it's New York or Los Angeles. You see it in Portland, Oregon. You see it in Seattle, Washington. You see all of these crimes. People are afraid to leave their homes. It's to drive out businesses, specifically the mom and pops or the middle Americans, small businesses, because those are the engine that drive most of the economy. And they have to break that down so they can usher in what we are going to be calling smart cities. You saw that in Maui and Lahaina. They were small, generational family businesses, small communities. They refused to sell. They refused to let go of their generational property in Maui. Well, that's a problem because they have to control the land. And I don't have time to get into this today, but it equates exactly to what they're doing with the derailments and small cities that you saw in Ohio and Pennsylvania, where they're saying that the water's contaminated in these. It is a land grab. Make no mistake. Start doing your due diligence, looking at the soil samples and things like that. Scientists have come in and said they're lying to the people. But of course, because we don't have any media on either side, Fox News, whatever, they actually don't report the truth or the real information that you need to understand. They want to keep you distracted with 5 more indictments of President Donald J. Trump. They want to keep you dangling over here so you don't look everywhere else while they're still infiltrating and methodically crafting their plans. Interestingly enough, Josh Green became the governor in 2022. Why is that interesting? Because in Maui in 2022, police chief, who also was the police chief for the Las Vegas shootings at the time, he was on the, I made notes because I really want to get this correct, John Pelletier. In November of 2021, he was the captain in Las Vegas during that shooting, and he was one of the investigators, along with his deputy, Charles Hank III. Well, now John Pelletier in 22, at the same time, the new governor of Hawaii was ushered in. He became the police chief of where? On Maui, in Lahaina. These aren't coincidences, I believe, in my professional opinion. Generational Hawaiians should be outraged, and I know they are, because this is going to be huge and impactful. 15-minute cities are basically an enslavement city. Everything is either renewable energy, electric vehicles. You do not have fossil fuels anymore. And how does that impact your life? Electric vehicles, EVs, everything's run off of a chip. It's electronic. Same thing with why the banks are really pushing hard to get rid of actual physical cash and go to digital currency. They want everything on a digital computer level scale. Why? Because they can control every facet of your life, including if you can go to the grocery store and buy food or not. While you're driving down the road in that electric vehicle, they can cut that chip, cut the electricity off, and your car is dead in the water where you're at. They can control where you go, how you go, what you buy. That's what these smart cities are all about. You know, I was reading an article this morning on the climate change. These 2 incredible scientists from MIT, one of them 30 plus years, does a lot of stuff in the defense industry and space industry. He's one of the top scientists in the world from MIT. And he literally just came out with an article debunking everything. And he said the EPA and these climate change scientists, they are fudging the data and they're skewing the data. And that everything that they're basing climate change on is false. And it's about a controlling narrative again. They're pushing people to get rid of fossil fuels, by the way, which we desperately need. When you have CO2 in the air, And it actually makes the growth of food supply actually go up. So historically, when you look at that data, you can see where there's been more CO2 in the air, we have more abundance of agriculture and farm crops. You can look it up. Smart cities are designed to lock you down and control your every movement. And they want to make Maui the first ever smart city on a US soil. I promise you, they'll probably, after all of the dust settles in about 6 months to a year, you're going to start hearing them come out and say, we're going to have Lahaina as a benchmark city for sustainability, renewable, clean energy city. This should scare every single one of you. That fire, when you look at it, the sirens didn't go off. None of the protocols that they have in place for natural disasters went off. Metal was burnt, like disintegrated, and just completely broken down. The fire that it takes to do that is more on the scale of like jet fuel. To make, you think about the 9/11, think about the Twin Towers. That was an incredible amount of heat by jet fuel, which caused the metal of those buildings, which is very strong, to buckle and melt and collapse. There was nothing left in Maui. You know, America, we're living in dangerous times right now. And a lot of you might say, you know, the cabal and the World Economic Forum and the One World Order is conspiracy theory. Well, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you right now. A conspiracy theory, anything that you have that's a conspiracy, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be theft, it could be murder, it could be whatever. It's either proven correct or disproven. So it's false or truth. I can tell you in the last 4 years, we've seen a lot of those conspiracy theories, like the Russian hoax that Hillary Clinton paid for the dossier, which she still is not behind bars while they're indicting President Donald J. Trump. That was not a conspiracy theory. It became what? Truth. You see, they're going to try to tell you there's a lot of kooky information out there because they don't want you to be smart enough to defend and protect what's ours, and that's our country. The globalist elites, the unelected bodies, have been running rogue for far too long. And we need to put the World Economic Forum and the globalist cabals on their heels. We need to put them on notice to say, the citizens of the world and the citizens of the United States, we're not stupid or sleepwalking anymore. We understand exactly your plans and what you're doing. You know, it's really interesting because they actually have to say it anyway. If you go back and you listen to all of these world leaders who are part of the WEF, they actually lay out what they're doing. We're just so distracted and so busy that we're not listening. We have to start listening. If you don't start listening, if you don't start acting, they're going to come and you're going to hear this. That knock on your door will be the last knock that you hear of freedom. You start adding up everything that you're seeing all over the globe, all over the world. Donald Trump, as they're kind of, he's kind of like the trophy for them, for the cabal, because he was the person who was standing in the way of all of this. And he's still standing and fighting really hard. And I'm not, this isn't politically motivated for me. They're using him as their prize. And it wouldn't matter who it was. I would be saying if it was that another individual. You see, he's the person that they're using to make an example, to tell you, the everyday American person or the everyday citizen of the world, to say, you see what we can do to this person, and he was the most powerful man in the free world. And this is what we can do to him. If you don't shut up, sit down, and comply, imagine what we can do to you and your family. But you know what? They underestimated us. There's more of us than there are of them. And all of this stops. And I'm going to repeat that. All of their plans, everything that they're doing to take down America and the globe and the world, all stops when one thing happens. When we are charged up and unified to say, no, we're not complying. We're not going to allow this to happen, because they know that we're powerful when we're one. And we're one accord. And it doesn't matter your walk of life, what your political ideology is. It doesn't matter at this point. What matters is, do you love freedom and liberty? Do you want to be under the submission of these globalist elite leaders? Think of the movie Hunger Games. You know, there's so much truth into some of the Hollywood motion pictures, isn't there? We're starting to see it play out. 15-minute cities. You do not want those. We have elected bodies. We have unelected bodies and unelected officials driving policy, driving the demise of democracy and liberty in our constitutional republic. We've allowed it to go on far too long. And I don't know about you. I've been on the front lines for 4 years. I worked in DC for over 18. Most of you don't know that. I worked in the defense industry. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm exposing these evil, evil individuals and their plans. I will not rest. I will not stop uncovering and sharing with you actual truth. But I'm here to tell you, here's my warning, because I'm sounding the siren that didn't go off for those residents in Maui on purpose, maybe. We're hearing children have gone missing. Imagine that. 87,000 plus children from the borders of Biden's administration disappeared. It's not by accident, it is by design. You know, I think about Lahaina, and I think about what they're going to usher in with the 15-minute cities and their power grant land grab. And I think about two things. Obama said, hope and change, and I'm going to fundamentally transform America. Then fast forward, after the great disruptor Trump, Biden, build back better. Well, you know, the Build Back Better plan is a build back plan to enslave you. That's what Build Back Better actually means. Taking away, burning down what we've known. Small mom and pop shops, small mom and pop businesses, the middleman, the middle class. And we'll have the elites and we'll have the worker bees. You know, Chuck Schumer back in December said it exactly on the Capitol steps. We're bringing in a replacement workforce to work the lands and the fields, to be the housekeepers, and to birth the children that we need to do our work for us. You can go back and watch that speech. America, get involved. You can go to our website right now. Women Fighting for America. And you know, men, you're fighting alongside of us. We need you. We need real men at this time in history to stand up. We need real men to take on the charge and be the defenders and protectors. You see, we're close, 12 less months away. I don't believe we're going to have a 2024 election. I believe what's going to happen, I'm going to reveal what I believe the plan is. I might be a little off, but I've talked to a lot of individuals in the intelligence community, and we've all come to one agreeing. President Donald J. Trump will probably do the perp walk. They will not let him see November of next year. They can't afford to. They can't afford to loosen up the reins that they have. We're going to see some false flag events. We have terrorists that we know who are already on our shores and on our soil. We have 25,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate that disappeared. We have Hezbollah. We have Iran's Revolutionary Guard. And we have the PLA. We have cartel members and gang members, which I believe, by the way, if you look at the history of the cartels and how they become emboldened, it actually was intertwined with who? Our CIA, who helped bolster them, giving them weapons. Remember Fast and Furious as well, under Eric Holder, Obama. I believe that the CIA has emboldened these transnational criminal organizations to be a militia arm for them to do the dirty work. If we don't prepare for what's coming, I cringe to find out what's going to happen to you and your families. You need to get in like-minded community with each other. You need to have a plan. You need to geofence your community and your home. You need to prepare like you're preparing for a long storm. Food outages, water supply shortages. They are ushering all of our agriculture and all of our products outsourced out of our country. We are being surrounded by the enemy in our supply chain routes up through Central and South America and Mexico. I've reported on that. Please go back and watch some of the videos. What I'm telling you is truthful and factual. Follow the cargo ships. The cargo planes and the cargo ships. You can track all of this stuff. You can get this information. If you don't prepare your families for what's coming and how to defend and protect our Constitution peacefully, and I am saying peacefully, 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 because let me tell you, they want us to have civil unrest. They want you to get ticked off. They want you to be mad. Sorry about that. See, they want to stop it because they know I'm right. Truthful information. So they want you to get mad. They want you to take to the streets. They want you to cause civil unrest so they can usher in martial law in the military. Biden did not make a gaffe. There is no gaffes. And I want to be very clear on that. There is no gaffes by any of these politicians or leaders. They are saying it was a slip up. It was a Freudian slip because that really is their plan. Through climate change, with an emergency natural disaster of climate change that gives President Biden unprecedented, extraordinary powers. Extraordinary powers. The treaty he signed with the WHO. Pandemic, new medical emergency. But however, what you don't know is that also in that decree, in that treaty, it also says civil unrest. It gives the WHO, which can activate who? The United Nations forces. Martial law on our soil. Make no mistake, this is a truth that I'm telling you. You think that those military style intake and outtake facilities that they've been building underneath our noses with our taxpayer dollars is for illegals just to be intaked and outtake? No, we don't need that. They're being built to house the resistance under our noses. Me and my team want to do everything we can to prepare you. If you're a company, if you're a small business, if you want to underwrite training to come to your city, we will come there. You need to email us, though. I'm not going to hold anybody's hands to activate anything. If you really care about what's going on and how this is going to impact you and your children and your future, you will act. You will not need somebody to lead you and hold your hand because that time is done. If you want more information, you want to get involved, you want to help, and you want to be part of the solution, you will go to our website, Women Fighting for America. You will find it right there, Women Fighting for America at protonmail.com. And you will email us. There's also a form where you can sign up to volunteer. And more importantly, whether you like it or not, they are well funded. We have got to fund the fight, because without the funding, we can't take it to their doorstep. Every person right now, there's over 310 of you listening right now. If every one of you right now went to your phone and donated $10, let me tell you, that would make a huge impact of more information that we can get out there, more training we can do. I'm a little voice in a very big space that I don't get to be out there. And it helps us. I've already been shut down on Facebook on my personal account, disabled, completely wiped out and erased my account, Facebook. Follow us on every social media platform, because Facebook is going to be shutting this down. You need to know where you can go to get truth. Bright Tea on TV, Sundays and Tuesdays. I'm on Bright Tea on TV. So you just go Bright Tea on TV, On the Front Lines, Christy Hutcherson, Tuesdays at 4 to 5 p.m. and every Sunday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have incredible intelligence operatives. I have incredible world leaders who are talking to you and training to you and giving you information that you must have now. If they can burn down Maui, if they can derail and literally contaminate cities in the United States, they can open borders and allow terrorists into our own country. These people should be held up on treasonous charges against the United States. We don't have one politician that I can tell you right now who's going to come to the rescue. That is not where you need to put your time, talents, and energy into. We need to come together in a unified way. We need to pray for this country. We need to pray for our leaders. We need to pray for God's guidance. Then we need to get off our knees and we need to march out, and we need to have a fortified plan and a strategy, which we have. I'm working with some incredible generals and intelligence operatives right now with a plan that's in place. And by the way, there's no private secret military or white hats that are coming to save us. That is a false narrative. Do not listen to the QAnon nonsense. It's a distraction. It's a distraction to keep you from being the solution to save this great republic we call America. Share the heck out of this message. God bless you. And as always, God bless the United States of America. Sorry, my team, I thought they were going to turn off the live, but what I'll do really quick